The Switch is a hybrid console and Nintendo doesn't know how to manage success. That's the answer, but I promise if you stick around, you'll hear a much better nuanced answer. The Switch we see today wasn't the grand slam surefire layup that it seems like now. You see, back in 2016, Nintendo fans weren't giving up hope, but they were rapidly becoming more and more concerned with the future of the company. They were still years from a theoretical Sega situation, but for the Wii U to flop as hard as it did, and for no one really seeing Nintendo as a real competitor, the once king of video games was now getting some heat. The main thing people forget about the Wii U is that it had good games. 3D World is widely regarded as one of the greatest Mario games to date, yet at the time, people were quite averse to the 2.5D style. They wanted a sandbox Mario and got what seemed like a slap in the face. Yet today, we see all of these Wii U ports and marvel at how these are great additions to the Switch lineup. Yet at the time of their release, they weren't system sellers. 3 of the top 10 selling games on the Switch are Wii U games, yet the Wii U didn't even sell as much as the 10th game on this list. How is this possible? Well, people can chop it up to the Wii U's cringe marketing, confusing name, or lack of third-party support. But in reality, the Switch is just a better product. This sounds completely stupid, but just hear me out. The reason the Switch outsold the Wii U wasn't because they had better games. It sold better because it was a home console that could be taken on the go. It wasn't just another console to play video games in the living room with. These games could be played anywhere. The optics of playing the greatest open world game of all time on a portable device didn't just make games system sellers, it made the system game sellers. This is what I call the Switch effect. For the first time, the system itself was the one driving game sales. The strategy of building a console and then making games that will drive system sales was turned on its head. Games already bought on other consoles were purchased just because the Switch meant they weren't contained to the TV. Mario Kart 8, the best-selling game on the Wii U, also became the greatest selling game on the Switch. However, the greatest uptick provided from the Switch effect is by far felt by Nintendo's smaller series. Before the Switch, Splatoon and Animal Crossing were seen as mid to small range series. Splatoon did well for a new IP on the Wii U, and Animal Crossing's best-selling game was New Leaf with around 13 million sales. However, these games absolutely skyrocketed in popularity on the Switch. Splatoon got 2 new games combining over 25 million sales, and New Horizons took over the internet and became the second best-selling game on the Switch with 44 million sales. And I didn't cherry pick these two. I'll run through even more examples. The best-selling Pikmin game at the time was Pikmin 1 on the GameCube with 1.6 million. Pikmin 4 outsold it in less than a year with 3.3. Metroid Prime sold 2.8 million, Dread sold 3 million. Mario Party 8 sold 8, Super Mario Party sold 20. Even Pokemon Sword and Shield is rivaling Pokemania sales. The very existence of the Switch is driving sales to games that never in a million years would have seen this kind of success. You might think I'm exaggerating this unprecedented Switch effect, but I'm not. The PS2, the best-selling console of all time, only has 4 games over 10 million units. However, the Switch has 21, with 9 of them outselling the best-selling game on the PS2. People didn't buy Switches just to play the hot new game and move on. They bought it with the expectations that the games would stand on their own. However, what comes next terrifies me. The Switch effect without a doubt was great business-wise for Nintendo. Having an automatic boost in sales to all of your series doesn't just feel good on the wallet, but also the new eyes on games were bound to bring in new fans. However, just because games sell well on the Switch doesn't mean that all the games were that great. Take the Mario sports games, for example. Mario Tennis Aces sold 2 times the highest selling game in the series, while also being considered one of the most bare bones in the series. Mario Golf Super Rush has a nearly identical story. The games on the Switch seemingly couldn't fail if they tried. And if they couldn't fail, how are they supposed to learn that these games aren't going to cut it on a less successful console? Because I can tell you right now that Mario Tennis Aces does not sell 2 million units on the Wii U. Oh wait, that's just Ultra Smash. However, I do think they're starting to feel the heat. Mario Strikers Battle League, the 3rd Mario sports game on the Switch, became one of the first games on the Switch to not outsell its predecessors. The declining trust in the Mario Sports series could be a key component to its downfall, But unfortunately, I don't think Nintendo will react this way. See, instead of grading the quality of a product based on its gameplay, Nintendo's notorious for putting the future of a series at stake depending on the newest game's general interest and sales. The greatest example of this is Nintendo canning Chibi Robo after the abysmal Chibi Robo Ziplash, pretty much coaxing fans into buying a game they wouldn't like to potentially save the series from being canned. Now, I'm not saying Nintendo can't put out stinkers. Everyone puts out stinkers from time to time. That's just inevitable. But when people are buying your stinkers at a rate that is outselling your past achievements, how are you supposed to tell the difference? I have the same problem when I make YouTube videos. If I see a video that I put less time and effort into doing better than a video I worked really hard on, that's not only discouraging, but also sends the wrong message. Why waste time on a passion project when something that takes less time will be more lucrative? Except that isn't the case. Eventually, those less time-consuming and less effort products won't perform as well, while the ones clearly made with love will be noticed by their audience. So circling back, the Switch without a doubt has cemented itself as one of the biggest splashes this business has ever seen. The Switch shifted the console market in a way where the console sells games. However, how does Nintendo play with a lead? For longtime Nintendo fans, you already know this song and dance. Going back to the beginning of Nintendo, no, not that far, the beginning of their video game endeavors, they can't help but play from behind. Their greatest innovations have always come out of dire straits. The last time they had back-to-back positive growth metrics is practically never. Every home console has progressively gone down since the NES besides the Wii and the Switch. And even their pretty successful handheld line couldn't help but have a 2 steps forward, 1 step back growth pattern. I think this is honestly why being a Nintendo fan is so damn addicting. You're on top of the world and then you're starving, then back to even higher heights, then lower lows. This intermittent success gives the right amount of push and pull to keep you hooked. Do I think this is intentional? Absolutely not. I just think they're stupid, but stupid in a way that keeps me highly entertained. But why do they do it? Why can't they help but play from the back foot? It's because they're innovators. They're not willing to keep the status quo and just maintain their success. They want to swing big, and big swings either produce home runs or strikeouts. So how do I expect Nintendo to stumble this time? Well, I think the stumble has already begun. Take this year's game lineup. 4 games with 3 of them being ports. There's definitely going to be more, especially since we have no clue about anything past June. But as it stands right now, Nintendo seems comfortable letting their lead diminish. Personally, after the success of the Switch, the next console should be a slam dunk. There are so many quality of life additions that would make this thing worth the price. 1080p screen, improved battery life, simplified dock, better processing to avoid frame drops. The list really goes on and on and on. Yet, it seems Nintendo is just kicking this can down the road. A can, albeit, that is pretty damn easy to open. But what seems to be happening from my perspective is that Nintendo is paralyzed by their innovation, and doesn't want to put out a console that doesn't drastically change the way games are played. They want to build a console that doesn't just rival their predecessor, but outshines it. However, Nintendo doesn't need to worry about what their next console is. They need to worry about what games they produce. The Switch effect was great at bringing new people to undervalued series. The Switch sold these players on these games, but now it's time to cement these fans. As I said earlier, I was worried Nintendo would be paralyzed by their blue ocean innovation, but it doesn't need to stop. They just need to shift their mindset and innovation to the games itself. There's no reason that the next Nintendo console can't succeed. Are there patterns that make the future scary? 100%. The future isn't predictable, but it is navigable. Nintendo's been through triumph and failure many times over their long life. But just because they haven't learned how to maintain success doesn't mean they can't now. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, go check out this video right here. And other than that, I hope you have a great day. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.